What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I've been waiting to make this video for a couple of months until I've had more seat time with the BRZ to be able to tell you guys if I like it, if I don't like it. So now, since picking up the BRZ, I've had a lot of questions from people. Hey, should I get one? A lot of people wanting one, wanting my feedback. Do you like it? Do you don't like it? Is there anything you hate about it? How's the new FA24 in this car compared to the last one? So we're going to talk about that today. I'm also battling the rain, so this video may take me a little bit to shoot, so I do apologize for that if it's a little bit back and forth. So overall, when the new BRZ got released, I absolutely hated the styling of this car. I did not like it at all. I thought the rear end looked a lot like a Honda Accord. The front end looked like a weird Subaru Porsche love child mixture that kind of got released out. But since then, it's grown on me quite a bit. Now, I do prefer the GR86 bumper over the BRZ's bumper, but that's subjective to your tastes, whatever you prefer. When I first went to pre-order the car, I actually wanted the GR86 over the BRZ, even though I love Subarus, but Toyota at the time wasn't taking any pre-orders on them. So Subaru was, so I ended up with the BRZ. But no complaints, it's essentially the same car. The only real differences are maybe some suspension material changes, the styling of the car, the interior stitching and things of that nature. Now, you guys know I've had a handful of BRZ's FRSs in the past. My last BRZ was a 2013 that we turbocharged. It had like a Precision 4831 on it or something of that nature. Very fun car with the FA20 in it. However, the FA20 in its stock form compared over this FA24 feels like such a lazy engine. The changes that Subaru and Toyota have made with the overall powertrain of the car by using a 2.4 liter is fantastic. The car feels a lot more responsive. It feels like it actually has a lot more power now. Like, yes, granted, they don't make a ton of power, but they make more than the last generation, and it's noticeable enough to where if you were considering buying one, I would 100% consider this over the prior generation, if you can afford it. Now let's talk about price for a minute before we actually get into the car. So I pre-ordered my car, which means I got my car at MSRP. I actually got it below MSRP with like $1,000 below MSRP. So I got it for about $29,000 after tax, title, license. I want to say it was about $30,500 out of the door. Now, I do firmly believe that the car is worth the price. However, I say that with a stipulation. If dealers are trying to put markups on the 8.6 or the BRZ, I say walk away. Do not buy one with a markup. I do not think that it is worth these markups that I'm seeing. Right now in the current market, I'm seeing anywhere between $5,000 and $15,000 markups on these cars, which is absolutely insane. It's wild. And most people that I've seen that are buying them, when they go to buy one, if they don't already have one, they are walking away from dealerships that are trying to put these massive markups on these cars. So I say if you're looking for one, try to find one that's either secondhand at this point, that somebody's selling near MSRP, or find a dealer that is not upcharging you out of the ass for one of these things. So let's get into the car real quick. So with mine, there are some modifications done to the car, as I'm sure you guys already know if you watch the channel religiously. The car is bagged on Airlift 3P. It's a daily driver. It's not a race car, anything like that. This is just my fun car. My race car is the STI way back there in the background. So with the BRZ, my goals for this car is just to have fun with it, have a cool, fun little daily driver, and it is doing that phenomenally. Having the rear-wheel drive aspect back in my life, considering I only have all-wheel drive cars with my Evo and my STI, this thing is an absolute blast, especially on days like this where it's a little bit rainy and a little bit wet. Now, some things that I absolutely love about this car is the fact that they actually integrated real vents back into the car. If you guys look closely in here, these vents actually do go up into the wheel wells to let air flow through the vents. Same with the front. They actually have functional vents that flow through and allow air to get into the wheel well. It's kind of cool. I do appreciate the fact that they did that. And like we said earlier, styling is totally subjective to what you prefer out of a car. For me, this has grown on me. I know some people still don't like it. As time continues to grow on and as more aftermarket is released into the world, people will like this thing more and more and more, especially with like the wide body kits that are coming out, all the little aero parts that you can get for these cars and whatnot. The rear end, I'm still not totally keen on, but I do like it a lot more than when I first saw the car. When I first saw the car, I absolutely hated it. But it is growing on me, and if you are looking at one, don't let just having like a weird looking rear end stop you from getting the car. Now for me, I felt the car was too quiet from the factory, so for us, we have a what is it, a MXP Comp RS catback on the car. I feel like it wakes the car up a decent amount. It's pretty affordable catback at like $500, so it doesn't break the bank. It looks halfway decent. Now overall for trunk space, while these cars have always had a tiny trunk, I still feel like it's pretty usable, especially with having all of my airlift stuff crammed in the back of the trunk back here. I mainly only put, like, whatever I'm hauling around is mainly small stuff. Camera bags, backpacks, tool bags, things of that nature whenever I'm going to work on cars. If I do need to haul anything big, I can still fold the seat down and I can still lay it down over my tank if need be. But if you don't have an air compressor or bag set up or anything like permanently mounted in your trunk like I do, you can fold down the seats. I fit 4 wheels and tires in this thing, no problem. It's actually pretty spacious when the seats are folded down. Just remember though, you can't kidnap people and put them in your trunk because they can pull this handle and get out. Now, overall, I don't have too many gripes with the car. There are a couple things that I still have not gotten used to or still just don't like about the car. And most of the things that bother me all come from inside of the car. So one of my biggest gripes, and I know a lot of people have griped about this, and I don't understand why Subaru Toyota does this. I have not gotten used to this yet. This turn indicator, there's no detent for this. There's literally no detent. So you'll go to change lanes, you'll be doing this weird dance thing with your shifter column here. And it takes a while to get used to. After driving it for a little bit, you do get used to it, but it'll still catch you off guard every now and then. And for reference, I'll show you the same one in my STI here. If we come in here and we hit this guy, there's a detent. It stays down or it stays up, so that way you know where you're turning. I don't understand why they did not do this for that car out there. Now, in typical Subaru fashion, there's a couple other things that still get me with this car. If you've had any type of Subaru in the past, I'm sure you know what I'm gonna say, and that is, if you take your cell phone, right, and you throw it on that seat right there, and you try to drive with your phone just chilling on the seat, it sets off the weight sensor in the seat. These weight sensors are so damn sensitive that anything you have on that seat is gonna drive you bananas, and you're gonna have to plug in your seat belt to get it to stop beeping at you. And we'll take this thing out for a drive here in a couple minutes. But the other thing that really bothers me, and I don't know if anybody else does this, like whenever I go to my shop to go work on one of my cars or I'm working on a project over there, there's like a gate key access thing, and you have to put this gate key access thing to be able to open the gate. So I'll unbuckle my seat belt to reach the gate key access thing, drive the 30 feet to my shop door, and just because of that, the damn seatbelt alarm goes off so loud, and then if you don't put your seatbelt on, it goes louder and louder and it dims your music, which is honestly kind of really annoying. Now, overall for the head unit, absolutely love it. I have no complaints whatsoever with this thing. I do appreciate the fact that they still put in buttons and everything like that. The Android Auto that's built into it works fantastically. I don't know too much about the Apple CarPlay just because I'm not an Apple kind of dude, more of an Android dude, but like the maps and everything, super responsive. If you want, like even the YouTube app is super responsive. All things of that nature. Feels beautiful. 10 out of 10 on the Starlink system here. Like, this thing is fathoms better than the one in my STI. The digital climate controls are super nice. Haven't had any issues with them like that. They're super easy to use. Turn the knob, it'll go up, down, whatever you need. If you don't want it on dual or you don't want it to sync, you can turn your side high, your side low. I have the base model BRZ, which is technically called the premium in Subaru's eyes, and all this stuff is like standard feature, which is actually really nice that they started incorporating all of this in. So you get like push button start standard, dual climate control standard, all like the features that used to be on the limited cars are now being incorporated into their like base or their premium models, which is really nice to see. Keyless access works wonders in this car as well. So if it's locked, just stick your hand in there, open it, unlocked. If you want to lock it, touch the side of it, the car locks. No problems with that. Kind of like how they built that in. Overall with the seats, like I said, I got the premium or the base model of the BRZ, so I just got the basic cloth seats. I have no problems with them at all. The Alcantara comes in the limited, and I believe in the GRs limited as well, or their premium. They have a different way of calling their seats, but no gripes at all with the seats. I appreciate the fact that there's still a handbrake in here too. I don't like the digital ones like I had in my old Golf R. And one of the biggest gripes that I had with my last gen BRZ 8.6 and FRSs was this center console. I love the fact that they actually integrated in something to be able to close this, so that way if you don't have a cup or you don't have a cup holder or anything like that, you can at least close it and it looks a little bit better. The cup holders still suck in my opinion. They're still in a pretty unreachable spot, but overall, no complaints. Now for the overall architecture of the FA24. Overall, this is pretty much the exact same as the FA20. You still have Toyota's D4S system in here, which I prefer because you get both direct and port injection. The port injection is going to clean off the backside of the valve, so that way if you're looking to make power, you don't have to do carbon or induction services every 30,000 miles like you would have to do on an FA20 WRX. I know the exhaust manifold, the radiator, and a lot of other parts will bolt directly up to this. For us, we have a external oil cooler at this point. I've gone ahead and deleted the water-cooled oil cooler that the car originally came with. I just prefer having a standalone oil cooler in the front of the car to actually keep temps where they need to be. Now, in normal Subaru fashion, the master cylinder still flexes whenever you go to apply brakes to it. It's normal with pretty much any Subaru Firewall. A quick fix for that is just a master cylinder brace. I have Perrin's, which is unreleased right now, but should be coming out here in the next couple of weeks or month, I believe. Definitely makes things a lot better for the overall braking feel of the car. But that's enough walking around talking about it. Let's go drive this thing a little bit. Go play with this thing a little bit. Overall, I'm gonna put it in track mode. It's a little bit wet out. We can play with the car a little bit. Overall, super happy with the car, especially considering the last generation where bug, man, there's a bug. I just killed him on the inside of my window. Overall, super happy with the car, especially from the last generation. The F824 is it's so much more responsive than the last generation was. It feels better. The power band is there. The stupid torque dip in the middle of the power band is gone. I love it. Absolutely love it. As you guys just saw real quick, the car, you can play with the car quite easy. And it's so tempting to do it every single time or every single opportunity you get. I'm trying to take some of these corners nice because this camera mount doesn't really like me. The car handles phenomenally, even on bags. Like, a lot of people say bags ruin how a car feels. Totally disagree if you set them up properly. I don't have my car cambered the hell out or anything like that. It's just on bags, so that way I can air it out when I want to. It looks good, it looks cool. The bags feel fantastic. I mean, side note, if you're considering air ride, as long as it's set up right, it feels money. The sound from the F824, I'm gonna say, is a little bit better than the F820 as well. The F820 sounded very, I don't want to say raspy, metallic-y, pingy. It didn't sound good. The F824 sounds, in my opinion, marginally better. It's still not a sexy sounding engine or anything like that, but overall it's better. You get some like nice pops from the factory with an aftermarket catback. Like with just this like $500 MXP comp catback, the little pops that we get from it are crisp. They sound money. I love it. One of my last gripes with the last gen was the shifter, and I don't think they even changed anything with the shifter, but it could be a placebo. This one just feels better. I have a Perrin shift knob on this one. The stock shifter feels totally, or the stock shift knob feels totally fine. I just prefer like a small ball. Sometimes we like to hold balls in our hands and whatnot, but pretty happy with it compared to the last one. I don't feel the need to throw a short shifter on this car like I did in the last one. I probably will at some point anyways, but I just don't feel the need like I have to. Now, even though the car has a lot more power, not a lot more power, but even though the car has more power than the last generation did, I still feel like it needs more. Not a lot more, but just like maybe 30 horsepower more. And once tuning options come out, because right now, as of March 2022, there's no real tuning options out for the BRZ FRS, or there's no real tuning options out for the BRZ or the 8.6 yet. ECU Tech, I heard, was looking into it, but I don't think they have any like specific time frame of when they're looking at actually releasing tuning software. So I think once tuning software comes out, people are gonna be making some decent horsepower just naturally aspirated on like E85. I could see cars being anywhere between like 260, 265 wheel with the F824. It's honestly it's a big improvement. It's a big improvement in the BRZ. I know the new WRX getting the F824 and a very marginal power bump, and with a decent power bump in this one, 10 out of 10. I appreciate you, Subaru and Toyota, for giving this thing more power. It definitely needed it. I know what some people complain about with cheap sports cars. Like, this is a cheap sports car. It's under $30,000 MSRP. It's rear-wheel drive, manual transmission. You guys know the whole kit and caboodle with it. I don't need to harp on it. A lot of people complain the interior's so cheap, it's made out of cheap plastics. I really don't feel like it's all that cheap. Like, it all still feels rather quality to me. I don't want to do any skids on this. It's a big hill. It still all feels really quality to me. And maybe I just have low expectations or low standards, but then again, I also buy a lot of shit boxes, so interior noises don't bother me that much. Honestly, I think it sounds pretty good. I think it's a pretty good sounding engine, if you ask me. I like it. I need gas. Well, that's another thing to touch on. If you are considering getting one of these, I don't know how long this video is going to be. If you are considering getting the new 8.6 or the new BRZ, if you can find one within a reasonable price, gas mileage isn't really that bad either. If you drive reasonable, like a normal human being, you can get pretty good gas mileage. I was getting like 42 miles per gallon on the freeway the other day. City, I can average around like 25 or so, especially with gas prices being higher right now. It's a pretty nice factor to have. It feels good. You get some, if you take out the charcoal filter in the intake, you can get some pretty good induction noises also. Now, like I said, I'm not telling you to take out your charcoal filters in your intakes, but if you do, just saying, you can get some pretty good intake noises with the stock airbox. At some point I will slap some forced induction on this car. I don't know if I'm leaning towards supercharger or turbocharger yet, but at some point this car will get some type of forced induction. Hello, officer. I'm really glad you didn't see me just do a couple polls. Please don't watch this video and find me. But if you do find me, at least be nice about it. Don't be nice about it. Be mean. I deserve to be mean. Yell at me. Yell at me, daddy. And yes, I do sit this close to the steering wheel. For those that are, I always get comments on how cose I sit to the steering wheel. Yes, I sit close to my steering wheel, okay? I like to be able to be in control. I'm also a very short dude, standing at a whopping 5'7" inches. It's a hot dog daddy. Oh, oh. Scoo-doo-doo papa. Scoo-doo boop 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 bop. Why do I smell gas? Is that me? It smells like gasoline. That can't be me. There's no way that's me. Is that me? There's no way. No way, no how. For my fellow small car owners, Miatas, BRZs, FRSs, GT86s, probably Fiats, whatever tiny car you're in, do you guys have that where like massive Jeeps and trucks just like get up on your ass when you're driving? Like, why? Why? You think you can just run me over? You think this is Monster Jam? Sunday, 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 we crush the BRZs. Now, do I think you should get one of these cars? I think this car applies to a very specific set of people. And for that set of people, I think it's a fantastic car for the price. If you are highly considering one, I think it's a huge step up from the old BRZ, FRS, GT86 lineup. The car feels more refined. It feels like a fine glass of wine. Or a fine cheese. We'll go with cheese because I like cheese more than wine. It's aged like a fine ricotta cheese. I actually don't think ricotta ages well, but regardless of the point, it feels fantastic. The seats actually hold you in pretty well. I've always been a fan of the stock BRZ FRS seats, purely for the fact that I think the bolstering is just the right amount. In the STI, I've always felt like the bolstering was never enough. In the BRZs, fantastic. And speaking of which, with the new STI getting nixed for the new generation, I've had a lot of people say, hey, now that I can't get the STI, I'm looking into getting the BRZ or the 8.6. Do you have any opinions on it? 100% do it. If you want a fun sports car that's fun to modify, 100%. The aftermarket potential with this car, I already know it's going to grow insane. Look at the last generation. It blew up with the amount of modification potential that went out with those cars. What up, little Mazda? I like your Speed 3. Control back on so that way I don't accidentally get squirrely, because I know myself and I need to be a responsible adult because I am making a video for you guys as I speed past a speed limit sign. We'll do a full pull also for you guys on the freeway. Like, the car feels fathoms better. Get those fun little pops in there, plop, plop, plop. Which makes me curious. There was an article I saw recently too about, I want to say it was HKS. I think you don't even know where you're going, dude. What? You're in 2 lanes. Where are you going? Oh my God. See, there's the blinker. I hit the blinker. I thought I hit the detent. I guess not. I guess I only hit the 3 blinks, so it only blinked 3 times. But I saw this article from Japan, I think it was from HKS, showing a turbocharged BRZ or 8.6. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was a BRZ, but that's beside the point. And they were making like, I want to say it was like around like 400 horsepower. And one of these, like my old one made 300 and it felt quick. I'm not going to say fast, but it felt quick. To have 400 horsepower in one of these just by strapping a turbocharger to it, very curious. That D4S system from Toyota is phenomenal for making power. Honestly, if they would put that on the new WRX, it'd be a huge plus in my book. It honestly pulls way better than the last generation did. Way better. And there's no noticeable dip in the power band anymore, which I think is the biggest factor on what makes this car feel so much better. Is the fact that it holds power all the way through the power band. Dude, honestly, I think this car looks so good. I think it looks a lot better than what people give it credit for. I don't think that it photographs exceptionally well, but I do think in video it's spot on. It's spot on. I love it. So to answer the question, am I still happy with the car after having it for 3 months? I'm exceptionally happy with the car. I don't like have the need to like crazy modify it like I do with some other cars right out of the bat. I feel like it's pretty good out of the box. A couple modification things like coilovers or whatever your choice of suspension mix is. For me, it's bags. But whatever your choice of suspension is, I think that alone puts the car in an entirely new category. Even if you would just want to take it up another notch, I'm still on stock wheels and tires. I've got my new wheels at the house, which, hey, it's the FRS again. I've got my new wheels at the house, which are a set of Koenig Ampliforms. They're 17 by 9 plus 40, that I'm going to be getting some tires for those here in a couple of weeks. We'll get those on the car, but having just a solid set of tires on this car just makes it a grip machine that feels so good. I love it. Space, I still feel like the space is very usable. I feel like the interior has been refined exceptionally well, fathoms better than the last generation. Would I buy it again? 100%. Do I think you should buy it? 100%, if you are considering it. And if you can find one near MSRP price. That is the other big factor here, is if you are paying a massive dealer markup on one of these, don't buy it. Find one or wait for one to come up that's near MSRP. I do not think this car is worth $35,000 to $45,000 like some people are trying to get out of them. So just keep that in mind. Don't screw yourself just because you want one of them. They're fantastic cars. Swing back to the house, we'll end this video up there and we'll do one more walk around of the car, and then I'll let you guys go about your day since I've been keeping you here for a while apparently. Well, I haven't been keeping you here, but you know what I mean. So like I've said numerous times now, fantastic car if you can find one at MSRP. Don't destroy your finances buying one that is like significantly marked up or anything like that. I promise as time goes on they'll continue to drop in price. Well worth it if you're considering getting this gen versus the first gen. Highly suggest second gen. Car feels better, feels more refined. Styling, I think it looks a little bit more mature. It looks a little bit better in my opinion. The front end reminds me a little bit of a Porsche, but you know, everyone has their own opinion on the styling of this car. The rear end, I know it's not the prettiest, but it does grow on you over time. And as time goes on and more of the aftermarket comes out, the rear ends are going to look 1,000 times better, I promise. So overall, 10 out of 10, dude. If you're looking for getting one, snag one. And if you are looking at getting one and you're having a difficult time finding one, on Facebook there's a group called 2022 Plus 86 and BRZ owners. They link below a whole bunch of like different dealerships whenever they find one that comes up for sale at MSRP. Good group to join if you're looking for one. But that's all I got for you guys on this one. I hope this helped your decision if you've been contemplating getting one, if you've been looking into them, if you've been trying to find one. Hope it helped your decision. 10 out of 10, extremely happy with mine, even after 3 months. I know after 6 months and a year, whatnot, it'll be, I'll still love it, even with what I have planned for the car. Doing forced induction soon on it because you guys know me. I can't leave anything stock. I like my turbos, I like my forced induction, I like my boost. So, that's all I got for you guys on this one. If you like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan, whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be one of these corners, no idea which one I'll put it in quite yet, but with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.